Hi, welcome back, everybody. Thank you for spending time with me. And please, if you're not subscribed yet, please do. That is one way you can support me, and it won't cost you a cent. Anyway, now once again, or shall I say, as always, I am not sticking to the plan today, but instead I want to spend some time on the case of Elizabeth Liz Barraza. This is one which really gripped me, and I have now literally spent the last week reading every article I could find, watched every video, etc., etc. And today I'm going to tell you what I see, what I think, and then it is up to you to decide whether I have something here or not. Now, first, I want to start as introduction, so to speak, that not only could the police and forensics not find a trace of infidelity in Liz and Sergio's marriage or any known rivals and enemies in their workplace or in their hobbies. But as impossible as it sounds, there is not even a tad of gossip, not a single neighbor who said that they ever heard fighting, no workplace gossip about flirtations, no known stalker from the likes of Comic Con or any of their other activities or hobbies. Absolutely nothing. This in itself is almost impossible because, true or not, people always have something to say, particularly after an incident like this. But it appears that Liz was just one of those rare people who were just nice, fun, good, and non confrontational, intelligent, just decent and normal. She was, however, not shy, and nor was she a pushover. Maybe, in my opinion, a little, tiny bit naive, but definitely someone who could and would stand her ground if necessary. Now, having said all of that, and remember, that is just my take according to what I heard and read. But taking that into consideration, and because I heard so much about victimology, I think I can safely say that Liz was at a very, 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 very low risk of being harmed by someone. Even Liz's family seemed to be decent, proper, normal, loving people. When it comes to Sergio, the same seems to apply. It appears Sergio found in Liz someone who shared his interest and whom he was having fun with. He did not seem unhappy or dissatisfied in his marriage, or at the very, very, very least, if there were any such feelings, he told no one. Absolutely no one. But I sincerely doubt there were major issues. It appears that Liz gave Sergio everything he wanted in a partner: shared interest and stability. So, this adds to Liz's low risk at coming to harm at the hand of another. And why this is such a mystery, or is it? Is it maybe a case of none as blind as those who do not want to see? Or maybe plain ignorance? Or maybe too much interference from the media and social media? Too many wild theories? I don't know. Let's have a look. And let's have a look at the video of the shooting. But before we do, I want to tell you something else. I watched a video of this Marine, a lovely, good guy by all appearances, and in a good marriage. However, he killed, shot his cop wife while she was on duty and left her in the cold and snow for her colleagues to find. As she was shot in the back of the head with an unknown weapon and then in the face with her own service weapon, there was no other evidence except for a few footprints in the snow. But her husband was arrested very soon. And why? Because although on none of the footage one could see his license plate number, cops tracked the dark vehicle from the scene to their home and to make sure from their home to the scene. Then, based on that, they got a warrant, searched the home, and found the two firearms. Okay, so that is one reason why I cannot quite understand why the vehicle, which shows up so prominently in the footage, was not tracked further than it was. I know there's a possibility that the vehicle went off-road for a short while, but there's actually only one way out of that suburb, and it had to have surfaced on that main road at some point. Take into consideration that the vehicle was seen returning to the scene bare minutes, almost seconds, before the police arrived. The killer, therefore, also did not have a big jump on law enforcement. Anyway, Idaho could track Brian Koberger from his apartment in Washington all the way to Moscow and back to Washington via rural areas. But these guys in Tembol could not track a huge black truck, of which there are not many sold in the area, further than they did. It does not quite make sense, but let's move on. I see there are many creators and even law enforcement entities who are speculating or saying that the shooter was a man in disguise. I may be wrong, but I do not think so. And the reason is simple. The person does not walk like a man. Smaller steps and a bit of a sway to the hips. I don't know. There's just something effeminate to the way this person walks. I see some are saying that the hair is likely a wig, and well, I will not argue with that because I can't tell. But from what we can see, the hair is long, blonde, or light brown, or may even be reddish, but definitely not short or dark, as I heard another YouTuber say. If it was a wig, then of course we can't tell what is underneath, but from what we can see on the footage, the hair is long and a lightish color. Then a lot is made out of the clothing. Many are saying that the perpetrator is wearing a long colored, light colored coat, to make him look more like a woman. But then I'm asking, yes, but what type of coat do you think it is? Because I think I recognize it. It appears to have big pockets. I think the killer had the gun and her hand in one of the pockets as she approached Liz. The reason why I am saying this is because I can distinctly hear Liz saying or calling out, "Morning," and she does not sound concerned or alarmed. So obviously she could not see the firearm until the person was right there in front of her and took it out of those big pockets. Now, what does have big pockets? Well, something like a lab coat. something medical personnel would wear. Somebody like a doctor or lab assistant at a hospital. Now, didn't they say that Liz and the group she belonged to visited a hospital wearing their costumes and entertaining the children? So maybe it was not someone in the cosplay group, but someone at the actual hospital. Did Liz perhaps see something she wasn't supposed to? Or maybe she heard something she wasn't supposed to. Maybe she was not even aware that she heard or saw something she wasn't supposed to. Maybe someone there was jealous for some reason, or maybe there was an argument at the hospital or a disagreement with Liz, but which Liz maybe did not even take seriously. But there is something else which may or may not be of significance. The only, and I mean only, negativity or bit of nastiness I could find concerning either family, now family being Liz's family and Sergio's family, is the fact that Sergio's mother was filing for divorce at some point due to the fact that his father had multiple affairs. Allegedly, the affairs were discovered when Sergio, who worked with or for his father, received checks which started bouncing. So I don't know whether Sergio or Liz were the ones who told his mother, or whether his father blamed Sergio and Liz for some reason for the affairs leaking and then the subsequent divorce. But that in itself is not the main interest for me. The fact that one or the last affair was with a female dentist is indeed of interest. Seeing a dentist in a lab coat would not be strange, and seeing him or her with a drop or two of blood on the coat would not draw attention either. Then there is the footwear. I hear so many different takes on this, and I enlarged the video as much as I could without losing pixels. And I think those ankle boots are not ankle boots at all. To me, it looks like white water boots, rubber boots, or what we in South Africa call a gum boot. And in England, they call them garden boots. Okay. My dad was a butcher and they wore white rubber boots in the butchery. And when collecting the carcasses from the slaughterhouse. And they did so for health and hygiene reasons, because at the delivery entrance there was a trench with water and antiseptic. And when carrying the carcasses between the truck and the butchery, the guys had to step into that trench and in so doing clean all the mud and dust and blood or whatever was on their boots off before they trampled it all the way into the butchery. So, so I'm fairly familiar with someone's gait as or when they are wearing these boots. Now the boots come in three lengths. You get the knee-high ones, and then you get the shorter ones, the ones they call the garden boots. And then there are those really, which looks like ankle boots, and what they call deck fishing boots or the rain boot. Okay. Now, I think it was the mid-range one, the type of deck fishing boot kind of thing. Anyway, these boots have multiple uses in many, many places, so whatever. I think it was the mid-range boot, and I think it was chosen because it would be so easy to get rid of any trace of blood and then clean it up properly so that there is no trace, okay? In any event, I read that the dentist is or was a person of interest. A number of creators are also saying there are two people in the truck. And I'll be honest, I honestly, seriously don't know. I can't really make it out. In another more recently released video, there's a definite shadow on the passenger side. But to me, and I may be wrong, to me it looked like a headrest. Now, I don't know whether those trucks actually come with a headrest, but that's what it looks like to me. It looks a bit square. Okay. Some are saying it could be a crime of opportunity, and I think that is pretty much ruled out by now. The truck, or rather the person driving the truck, passed the house a few times and had been trolling the neighborhood for a few hours before the murder. So, no, I don't think it was opportunity alone. It also appeared that there was a conversation between Liz and the shooter. So I don't think it was a case of mistaken identity either. I personally think the killer is female, 30 to 50, has medium long light colored hair, or wearing a wig, although I really think it wasn't. But I still won't stake my life on it, okay? I honestly think the killer or killers, because if there was a second person in the truck, they are just as culpable. But I think they will be found closer to home. Family or friends or colleagues or somebody linked to the family or friends or colleagues, okay? I think the fact that there is no trace of animosity does not mean that there wasn't any. Maybe Liz's father-in-law's dentist girlfriend was angry at her, and maybe the father-in-law was even the second person in the truck. Although I really doubt it, because I am relatively sure that that avenue had been thoroughly investigated. But one never knows. Maybe the person works in a butchery or bakery, but for some reason, maybe because of the callous and coldness of the murder, I personally would stick to the medical field. Okay, guys, so that is what I have so far. Okay, I would like you to comment underneath and tell me whether you think I have anything of consequence. Tell me whether you would like me to continue investigating this story, or would you like me to move on to something else? Okay, so that's it for today. We'll meet again on the next one. So please take good care of yourselves. Until then, bye.